Today we're going to be focusing on market segmentation and specifically one-to-one marketing. And one-to-one marketing looks at what actual customers do and figures out a way to best market to those people based on their past purchases. So to start this, we're actually going to be using Google Spreadsheets, which mimics the Microsoft Excel program. To start, go out to our Moodle page and then scroll down to where you find Chapter 8, Market Segmentation. Once at Market Segmentation, click on the class tutorial. At the class tutorial, you'll notice that we have a spreadsheet with a lot of information in it. What we're going to do today is make sense of this information by sorting and trying to find trends and analyze those trends that will help us not only identify our best customers, but also forecast and find like-minded customers in the same settings. So to start, let's do a couple basics. Click over where it says total room costs. And what we're going to do is some basic calculations using formulas that reference cells. So every formula starts with an equal sign. And in this case, it's asking for total room cost. Total room cost is found by clicking on the number or the total days since 2010 that they stayed, and then multiplying it, which is the Shift asterisk or Shift 8 key, by the number, or the average nightly cost of rooming. So in my formula, I should have equals G2 times I2. Once I have that, I can hit Enter. The beauty of using a spreadsheet is that we can do something once, and then the program will actually know what we're trying to do and help us out by doing the rest of the work. So if you notice my cursor, it goes from a white plus sign to a black plus sign when I'm on the bottom right hand corner. Once I'm there, I'm going to click and drag down. And when I release it, it actually does the formula and the calculations for me. So here I have my total room cost. Next, I want to click over under total spent. Total spent is a very simple formula which will take the total room cost plus any spending on amenities. So we'll look under column L. So in our formula, we have equals M2 plus L2. And then I'll hit Enter. From here again, we'll use the fill down, which it calculates all of our numbers again. Our next column looks at average daily spending. So I'll click equals, and to figure out average daily spending, we need to take our total spent and divide that by however many days that we've stayed since 2010. So it looks like equals N2 divided by G2. The reason that we would want to know this information is that we can see the spending and how high it is per day, because total spent doesn't tell the whole story. Finally, we want to figure out how much do they spend on average daily on amenities, which includes things like bar, restaurants, spas, all kinds of different features that the resort offers. So to do this formula, I'm going to click equals. I'll click on spending on resort amenities, and I'm going to divide this by the days that they've stayed since 2010. So our formula is equals L2 divided by G2. And again, I will fill this information down. Alright, we've done some basic formulas, and what we need to do now is start to sort through and figure out what some trends are in our information. So the power of a spreadsheet is that we can quickly sort. In the case of Google Spreadsheets, we do need to highlight all the information that we have in our spreadsheet. So on my screen, you can see that I've highlighted everything in blue. Now the next tab that we'll need is the Data tab. We'll click on that and we'll go Sort Range. Now it's very critical that we click this box that says Data has header row. When I check that box, you can see that it's Sort By. I now have all my column headings. So in this case, we're going to be analyzing spending, so we want to look at total spent. And usually we want to know from highest to lowest. So in this case, we're going to sort in descending order, or Z to A. When I do that, I can quickly see that this column right here under total spent gives me my highest spending customer all the way down to my lowest spending customer. Now, this is one way to figure out answers to the question. So if I look at this spreadsheet, I can see that Darlene Merritt is my best customer in regard to total spent. Now, one thing that will kind of help us, and this was a sheet that would be handed to you in class, is let's take a look. So it says, looking at the top 10 spending customers, what was the reason for the majority of their stays? If we go back to our spreadsheet, we have more than 10 customers. So what we want to do here is sort out this information so we're only looking at the top 10 customers. Since our list actually starts at number 2, I'm going to highlight from the top of my list down through row 11 and all the information that goes with that. Once I have highlighted that, I'm going to hit Control-C and copy that. And I want to just look at that top 10 in a separate list. So if I go down to the bottom left-hand corner, I can click Add Sheet, and you'll see a Sheet 2 appear. I'll just click in the first cell and paste that information. Now I have my top 10 customers, and I also have my complete database back here. So going back to the question, it says, looking at the top 10 spending customers by total spend, what was the reason for the majority of their stays? So I'll come back and I'll look primary reason for staying. And as I look at this, we see two major trends that basically are happening. Either they're staying on a weekend with friends, or they're doing a family vacation. So as we come back here, we can simply say family vacation or weekend with friends. The next question, it says, what is the age, birth date range of the majority of the top spending customers? To figure this out, we want to go and we want to look at their birth dates. To look at birth dates, we can do a number of things. We can quickly glance at them, and I can see that by looking at these, it looks like it falls from the early 60s to the early 80s. So we could do one of two things. We could do a filter, which if you look up at your toolbar, you'll see a thing that looks like a funnel. We'll click Filter, and you'll notice that it puts these drop-down menus on it. From here, we can sort A to Z, and I can quickly see that, yes, 1962 to 1981 is the majority of my customers. Now, I could simply do the math and figure out, okay, the year is 2016, and then subtract backwards to figure out that my customer's age range is 35 approximately to 54, and that would be good enough. Another thing we could actually do is figure out what's the average birth date of these 10 people. And inside of spreadsheets, we can go equals average. I just type the word average, and then I put the left parenthesis in. This tells the program that I'm doing a formula and I'm going to need a range of cells. In this case, my range is C2 through C11, and then I close that off with the right parenthesis and hit enter. This shows me that out of my top 10, the average birth date was around 1972, which may be helpful in putting some of my marketing materials and strategies together. But let's keep moving. The next question, it says, based on the top 4 average daily spending on amenity customers, what time of year are they coming? So if I go back, and again, I just leave my filter on, we're looking for the amenities that they spend on in my top 4, okay? So I need to actually look at average daily spending on amenities. So I come over here, and I'm going to click Z to A. This sorts by their spending on amenities. I'm looking at my top 4. And the question was, what time of year are they coming? And when I come over here, I can see the date of their last visit. So if I look at the top 4, I start to see a trend in August and early September. We do have one outlier here that came in May. However, I do start to see that, hey, these people are coming in August and September, which I could do some of my marketing around those months. So I'll just put down August, early September. It says, is there a geographic region that appears more often for these customers? I'll come back to my top 10 and I'll look at geographic regions. Again, I can quickly sort this A to Z to see if there's any towns or areas that are represented more often. So as I look at this, I see northern Wisconsin, northern Minnesota, central Wisconsin. This is kind of the West Metro here in the Twin Cities. West Metro. West Metro. So if there really was a trend, which there isn't a big one, I could say West Metro. The next question says, of these top 10 customers, how long was their average stay? Which I can come back here and I'll do an average. Since we just used the formula before of average, we can go equals average. Again, I put in the left parenthesis and then highlight my range, which is G2 through G11, click enter. And I can see that the average stay for these customers was 12 days. Again, the purpose is to kind of understand how long these people are staying and develop marketing materials and efforts around what the information is telling us. It says, what trends do you see in amenities? If I go to amenities, I can quickly filter this list again, A to Z. I can see that spa looks like roughly half of the reasons or the amenities that these customers spent money on. So if I come back here, I can type in the word spa. Again, why would you use this? Obviously your spa is popular, but maybe you want to get people to try other amenities at your resort, and those you could tell which ones would be popular or maybe are growing, or which ones you should just get rid of. On the next part it says, as a group do these people spend money on amenities, but it's asking us to look at customers that have only stayed 7 or less days. Now the 7 or less is a key indicator here. So now we're not looking at just our top 10, we need to go back to all of our customers. And the easiest way to do this would be to filter our list again. So we'll come up to our toolbar, click filter, and we're going to go ahead and filter our guests by the total number of days that they've stayed. And to do a conditional or a filter by condition, we just click on the filter, and then right here where it says none, we want it less than or equal to 7 days. And then we put the value in of 7, and we say OK. It filters our list, and we can see everybody that stayed 7 days. Now looking back at the question, it says, as a group do these people spend money on amenities? We'll quickly come back here, and it's basically a yes or no. Absolutely, you can see that every single person on this list is spending money on our amenities. So that's an easy one. We can say yes. As a group, what trends do you see in the reasons for their visits? As we look at this, again, we'll want to filter it A to Z, just to quickly see what happens. So our main pieces here tend to happen. Our trend could actually be winter and late fall months are when you kind of see a lot of people are coming for different things. So if I were doing this assignment, I would say trend is fall, winter activities. And is there a service or package that should be added? Well, if it's based on fall and winter, which is popular, we could say yes, add more of that. Otherwise, we'd also want to look at our slow times, which you might want to say add spring or summer, which may not be as well attended. To get our full information back, we just uncheck the filter and our information comes back. These were just a few features within spreadsheets that are helpful. I hope this tutorial will help you out, and if you have questions, please see me in class.